Good day, first year English literature students. Today we are going to do a poem by Henry Vaughan, and the title of the poem is The Retreat. Retreat means going back, to draw your steps backward. The poem is an interesting one. It gives us the idea of going back to that place from where you came. So, in this poem, the poet wants to go back to his childhood. He wants to go back to his childhood innocence. He feels that he has collected a lot of sins during his lifetime and he feels heavy. He feels that all his senses, all his five senses, have become heavy due to the collection of sins. And because he thinks that childhood is the only phase of human life which is nearest to God, so he thinks that if we want to achieve God, we have to go to our childhood again. So he says, "Happy those early days when I shined in my angel infancy, before I understood this place, appointed for my second race." So he says, happy those early days. Early days means childhood days. He says, those days of my childhood were very happy. When I shined in my angel infancy. Now you see the metaphor. Angel like infancy. Infancy means childhood. He says, childhood is angel like life. As angels are pure, angels live with God, angels are divine. In the same way, children are also divine. So he says, when I used to shine in my angel infancy, we have seen that there is a shining aura around the angels. So he says, even the children have an aura of innocence around them. Before I understood this place, appointed for my second race. He says that I am talking of those early childhood days before I understood this place, means before I understood my existence on this earth, appointed for my second race. Now, what is second race? Second race means birth as a human being. And what was his first race? With God. He says that first, initially, I was living with God, and God appointed earth as a place for my second race where I should spend my life. Or taught my soul to fancy aught but a white celestial thought. Aught means anything. He says, I am talking of those days before I taught my soul to fancy anything but a white celestial thought. Fancy means imagine. I'm talking of those pure innocent childhood days before I had taught my soul to fancy anything. Means my soul used to think only white celestial thoughts. My soul was so pure that there was nothing but pure thoughts in it. When yet I had not walked above a mile or two from my first love. Now, who is the first love? God. And you imagine a human being is walking towards the earth, and childhood is the nearest phase to God. So he says, when yet I had not walked above a mile or two, I was so near that I had just covered the distance of 1 mile or 2 miles because I was just a child. And looking back at that short space, could see a glimpse of his bright face. Because the distance between God and a child is very small, so looking back, he could see God's face. Imagine that you have left college and you have reached bus stand. So From the bus stand, if you look back, you can look at the college because the distance is very near. Suppose you reach the railway station, then you cannot look at the college, then you cannot have a glimpse of the college because the distance has increased. So, in the three phases of human life, what are the three phases? Childhood, youth, and old age. Which is the nearest with lesser distance? The nearest is childhood. So he says that when I was a child, the distance between me and God was very less, and turning back, I could see a glimpse of God. And looking back at that short space, could see a glimpse of His bright face. His bright face means God's bright face. So, how did that child see God's bright face? When some gilded cloud or flower, my gazing soul would dwell an hour on some gilded cloud. Gilded cloud means a cloud with a silver lining. We see the divine beauty of God in clouds. We see the divine beauty of God in flowers. These are the beautiful things, and all the other beautiful things in which we can see the glimpse of God. So he says, I could see the glimpse of God in a golden cloud or a flower when my gazing soul would dwell an hour. Gazing soul. Look at the expression. Gazing means looking, staring. Do we look by soul or do we look by eyes? No, we look by our eyes. But this is an expression which is called transferred epithet. What is a transferred epithet? Transferred epithet is a figure of speech in which, now what is epithet? Epithet is adjective, in which the adjective is transferred from its original word to another word. So, here the expression should have been my gazing eyes, because eyes gaze, souls do not gaze. But he says, my gazing soul would dwell an hour. So very soulfully he used to gaze on gilded clouds and flowers and other beautiful things made by God. And we can see the glimpse of God in the beauties of nature. So my gazing soul would dwell an hour. Dwell an hour means I used to look at the beauties of nature, and I used to have a glimpse of God in clouds and flowers. Why? Because I used to see God Himself in those beauties. And in those weaker glories spy some shadows of eternity. Now he says, in those weaker glories. Now, the things of glorious nature, their glory is weak, and the glory of God is eternal. So he says, even in the most beautiful things of nature, I used to see God. And the most beautiful things of God, made by God, of nature, are weak glories. Why they are weak glories? Because the beauty of nature is transient. The flower fades away, the greenery fades away, the clouds, their shapes are destroyed. So the beauty of nature is not eternal, but in the beauty of nature we can see the eternal beauty of God. So he says, in those weaker glories spy some shadows of eternity. By looking at the beauties of nature, I could spy, I could make out the beauty of God, some shadows of eternity. We can make out how beautiful God must be when the things made by Him are so beautiful. Before I taught my tongue to wound my conscience with a sinful sound. Beautiful expression. He says, before I taught my tongue. I am talking of that childhood before which I did not teach my tongue to harm anyone's conscience by a sinful sound. What is sinful sound? Telling a lie, talking rudely to someone, scolding anyone, insulting anyone, backbiting. So this is sinful sound. So he says, before I taught to tongue, before my I taught my tongue to wound my conscience with a sinful sound. He says, when we wound anyone by our words, by our bitter words, who are we wounding? Our own conscience, because our conscience pricks us and says that you said wrong, you told a lie, you talked rudely to him. So he says, whenever we talk rudely to someone, it is our conscience which is first wounded. So, before I taught my tongue to wound my conscience with a sinful sound, or had the black art to dispense a several sin to every sense. I'm talking of that time of my childhood before I did not have the black art, that dexterity to dispense a several sin to every sense, to give the duties of several sins to our sense. When we grow up, what do? We teach our ears to listen to criticism. We teach our eyes to look at wrong things or to ignore right things. We teach our tongue to make sinful sounds by telling a lie. We teach our sense of touch to touch wrong things. So he says we dispense each and every sense with a different sin. As the Prime Minister, for example, he gives different portfolios to the cabinet ministers. So what do? We distribute different duties, sinful duties to our senses. But he says, I'm talking of that time when I was a child, before I distributed different sins to my senses, but felt through all this fleshy dress bright shoots of everlastingness. He says, I felt through all this fleshy dress. Fleshy dress means my body. My body and mind was pure then. When I was a child, in my childhood, innocent time, the fleshy dress means my body and my soul was pure. I felt bright shoots of everlastingness. I felt godliness in me. I felt eternal divinity in me. I felt goodness in me. Why? Because in my fleshy dress, I used to feel bright rays of God. Oh, how I long to travel back and tread again that ancient track. Now he is yearning. He desires to go back to his childhood days. He says, oh, how I long to travel back. I have had a long journey. I have come a long way away from God. I have seen childhood, I have seen young age, and today I am old. But I want to go back, I want to travel back and tread again. Tread means to walk. I want to walk again that ancient track. Ancient track means that road of innocence, that divine time of childhood, that I might once more reach that plain where first I left my glorious train. Now, why does he want to go back? He wants to go back because he says, I want to reach that plain whence I left my glorious train. I want to reach the lap of God because I have come from God only, from heaven only. So he says, I want to again reach that plain. I want to reach heaven where I left my glorious train. Now, what is glorious train? Glorious train means a multitude of many angels. I left many angels and came to live on the earth. That shady city of from whence the enlightened spirit sees the shady city of palm trees. I want to reach there from where the spirit becomes enlightened. The spirit gains knowledge from where I can see the shady city of palm trees. He talks of Jerusalem. He wants to go to the city of God. But my soul with too much stay is drunk and staggers in the way. Now, is it very easy to reach childhood innocence? No, it's not easy. Because we have become adept in worldliness. So he says, my soul with too much stay. He says, my soul and my spirit has stayed too long in this world. So is drunk. It is drunk in worldliness and staggers in the way. My soul is intoxicated with worldliness, with materialism. So it cannot walk steadily. It staggers in the way. So my soul is staggering. Some men a forward motion love. Naturally, people want to go forward for their development. But he says, but I by backward steps would move. But my development is not in going ahead. My development is in retreating. Retreating towards my childhood innocence. And when this dust falls to the urn, in that state I came, return. Now he says that it is not physically possible to return to my childhood again, but this will be possible when I die, when this dust falls into urn, when the dust of my body will be collected into the urn, into the pot. In that state I came, return. It is only then I will be able to return in that situation, in that condition from where I came. So let us have a quick recap of the poem. The poet says that my childhood, early innocent days were very happy when I was like angels. I was so innocent that I can compare my innocence to angel. He says that I am talking of that time before I understood this place. Before I understood this place means before I understood the worldliness, before I engrossed myself into the worldliness of this world. Before I taught my soul to think anything else except pure and religious celestial thoughts. And he says that I am talking of that childhood when the distance between me and God was not very much. And because the distance was very less, I could see the glimpse of God whenever I used to turn back. And I could get the glimpse of God, of God's bright face, when I used to look, when I used to stare, gaze at some gilded cloud or flowers. But the beauties of these clouds and flower, they are temporary. They are weaker glories. Why? Because they are not permanent. They are not eternal. They fade away. But in those fading beauties also, he used to get a glimpse of that eternal beauty of God. So he says, I am talking of that time, my childhood, before which I did not teach my tongue to wound my own conscience with a sinful sound. But he says that I felt bright rays of everlastingness. Everlastingness means eternal divinity, the feeling of God in this fleshy dress. Fleshy dress means the body. And he says that he longs, he desires, he yearns to go back to his childhood innocence and to tread again that ancient path. Because he wants to once again reach that plane where he left his multitude of angels. But he says, is it that easy to attain childhood innocence or to regain your childhood? He says, no. I am so very engrossed, I am so very drowned in worldliness, in materialism, that my soul is drunk with materialism. And what does the drunkard do? Does he walk straight? No, he staggers on the way. In the same way, my soul is staggering. He says that some people love to walk forward, but I would love to retreat. I would love to take my steps backward. Why does he want to do so? Because he wants to reach his childhood innocence. He wants to reach God. So he says, this is only possible when the dust of my body, when I die and the dust of my body is collected into the urn.